In Japanese?
Yeah, where the Japanese side becomes uncomfortable, because in the Japanese negotiation is basically it's like looking for harmony. Again, this week I had a negotiation, and
Okay. Japanese to Japanese cases, we have very huge common area to make easy to make consensus. For example, technology, we don't need to discuss. Technology. Price is partner is prevailing in Japan. And quality is technology, as I mentioned. They understand. And they additionally delivery, how 1 year, 2 year. This also we can make a common sense. So price, delivery, quality, we don't have many problems. So it means negotiation basic ground is a very high level common ground. So not so many points to discuss.
there is not
Like
so much.
what kind of technology? Of course, technology itself, we have lots of technology, IoT or any kind. So what kind of technology are you going to adopt it? So maybe we need to discuss. But we don't have big gap among them. Price, technology, or you mean quality and delivery. Not so big difference compared with Asia Pacific. Asia Pacific is every three aspects different.
But in Japan, most companies compete on product, right? Not on anything else, but more on product than on anything else. So the latest technology, not really on delivery terms, not really on anything else.
No.
It's just about technology, and so who brings the best technology to the table, and then there is a kind of cost plus approach. So the price is based on their internal costs plus a profit margin.
Exactly.
So the only thing that you're focusing on is on the product, not really on the delivery terms, but on the product. So I would reckon that there is
Of
actually
course,
a
like
difference.
system development, we have a lot of discussion before contract. We have a lot of issues and scope, and in the case of some accidental issues happen,
Yeah,
sort of things, many things to be discussed. Of course, I had,
it does.
but it does. But Asian Pacific more than that. Okay, more than that,
Yeah,
more
yeah, yeah.
issues.
European even more probably.
More. So this is, I think, we need to talking about step by step what we're going to talking about negotiation.
For me, the scope discussions in Japan are always very limited. For my experience in Europe, the scope discussions are basically, well, the supplier just follows whatever the customer wants. That's the scope, and then there is more or less of the same expectation. So we have this price agreement. So if there are cost overruns, then basically based on the demand, we need to justify that we actually spend this time, but then it's also paid.
So it means negotiator has very skillful to negotiate with customer for like IT implementation. We can avoid like kind of missed hole.
Right.
So we try to fill in those communication gap. Like we are losing some kind of interface, additional cost. No, we can.
Right.
If these sorts of things happen, we can price negotiation again. Sort of contract. If we going to make it, we can avoid conflict with the client.
That's why I always made the contracts for ERP.
Yeah.
Because I knew the product, I knew exactly what was necessary. So I was a consultant at the time, but I was also responsible for making the.
So
making
recently, the Japanese company
contract.
are more skillful to negotiate with customer. So at this point, I think we don't have so much problem. But okay, we need to discuss about with Asia Pacific, what kind of additional conflict will going to happen for negotiation.
One step back, though, you have to be very careful because we are all very tricky. You cannot really trust a European negotiator in that respect because we know the game. So the contracts are very good in a sense that it will always meet your budget. It will always have everything in scope. It's clear. But the way that European negotiators do it is that they basically take out the stuff that they know that you're going to need. So, for example, one trick is say, okay, we do a multi-phase implementation. So we have your budget. So what we do is we propose that we go running concern. That means that our proposal will include everything that you currently have and replace by the new system, and then we're going to actually upgrade and increase improvements. But basically, that's throwing away money. That's stupid. That's ridiculous. It basically saves a little money in your initial stage, but you pay double or triple in your second stage. So you have to be very careful when you're negotiating.
What do you mean? What's the problem? What you're talking about?
What I'm talking about is basically the way that we make ends meet is that scoping is done in a way that we say, okay, we will do this, this, and that, and it looks complete on paper. But once you are actually working with the system, you realize, hey, but why don't we have this? Well, sorry, it was not in scope. You didn't have any budget for it. We already know that this is going to be an issue, but since your budget is limited, we
you're
are
going to conceal key portion.
Yes, we are going to conceal a lot of things, basically to sign the contract.
Kind of Westinghouse case.
Yeah,
I understand.
it's very common.
So this is, I think, British people, they like it. Okay, some cases the American people, they will do it. So this is a kind of, what do you say in English? Something hole? Missing hole?
Black hole.
Not black hole. Some kind of missing point. Why Japanese executive missing that critical issue point? But many things happen. Okay, bring back the discussion for Asia or Japanese negotiation. I don't have not so much key issues to discuss. But Asia Pacific, I think we have what kind of critical issue we should be considered for negotiation. Technologies, everybody knows that among us, and Japanese provide utmost end of technology we try to force them to implement.
Right.
But Vietnamese, they don't like it. This is prevailing fact. It's a miscommunication. And pricing is the same, okay? Japanese is certain level of pricing, or like railway construction or highway construction, very expensive.
Right.
And overseas Asian Pacific people don't want to pay that so much money. Africa is the same, right? Sort of thing, price and technology.
Well,
and
let's try to reverse engineer this one and translate it to a Southeast Asian Japanese negotiation. So first of all, if we look at the vision, so we're trying to look at interest, etc. I don't think that the Japanese negotiators are comfortable looking at interest, etc. They are only looking at their own interests. Why? Do they not consider?
Good, very good point. This is what I wanted to say. Japanese typical cases, selfish desire.
But why?
Selfish desire, because
they want to make it. They want to make a deal.
Okay.
Right?
So this morning I discussed this. This is not humble. Japanese are not humble. Okay, they try to. Okay, we are superior than you. You should follow. It's still in some cases, many cases in China, for China, every other rest of the Asian Pacific countries, we are the superior. Okay, you need to follow technology or advanced, and price because we qualified. Sort of things they have no compromise. But this is a big issue for obstacle for negotiation. So Takahashi is not like that. He's getting into the local people. So he tried to understand local people, so he can negotiate with local people, local price, local quality.
So it's very much supplier driven. So Japanese business attitude is very much supplier driven. But so basically, we have this technology, we have this, we have that. So this is what we sell to you.
Yes.
So it's basically okay. How much are we?
Supply side economics.
Right. But is that also within Japan? Is that the same situation?
But within Japan, same situation. But supply side, we deliver something, but counterpart, they understand. Okay, we need most advanced technology.
Right.
We understand the very expensive price.
So but also actually basically it's expected from the customer side.
Exactly. And Japanese people never try to degrade their technology. Like Vietnam people, okay, so degrade one rank, two rank, and they expect for a cheaper price, a third price, but Japanese cannot accept it.
So the customer behavior in Japan is significantly different from outside of Japan.
Yeah.
So we don't want to compromise in terms of quality, in terms of
So
of
we need
technology.
to. That's right. So we need to consider for negotiation. Okay, why you company is how to reduce your price to sell for Vietnamese company, but just last Monday told you they cannot do that because they just consider for the group among Japanese companies group. They cannot by himself do it. So everybody just same, thinking approach, same way to sell the product in Japan. But if going to outside Japan, they force them to do that. This is a problem, right? So government including, the government do not allow him going to do much cheaper price negotiation. Right? This is a big problem in Asia Pacific. So what we should do that?
So basically, how can we learn how to adopt customer preference instead of driving our own agenda?
Like bullet train in Indonesia is the same thing happen, right?
Right.
And everywhere in Asia Pacific the same thing happen. So I think Japanese company need to change their mind. And if you want to penetrate into the Asian market, right? And then this sort of things is a negotiation.
So Takahashi-san, if you are actually engaging with foreign businesses or governments, how does it start? Do you come with a proposal, or so do you come with your product? Even the first meeting, if you meet somebody, do you present your company and the products and what you can offer? Because I noticed that is very much the modus operandi, the very much the way of doing things in Japan. So a company who's selling something, they usually come with an entire presentation. We are this company, we have this experience, we have this and this clients, and then we have this and this and this products, without even knowing what the customer wants, who they are, what they want, etc. So what is expected in the Western context?
This one.
No, I think you need to.
Oh my God!
Is it switched off?
No, don't push.
It's expected that actually you're first going there to learn about the customer. So just listen. Listen, asking the right questions to figure out not only what they're saying, but actually to discover what is really their problem, what their world looks like, how they see the world, what is important to them in terms of budget, in terms of technology, in terms of where they want to go with their business, who are the decision makers, what they look like, what are their personal careers look like. You want to know as much as possible as you can. So basically, a supplier doesn't talk about himself that much. If you can avoid it, you would do it. Basically, your assignment is just to learn and then see, okay, so this is their problem, this is what their world looks like. So I push. Don't push that. Somebody told me not to push, so I'm a little bit
push again. I need to.
出ないといけない。Appointment.
Oh, you have an appointment?
At home.
Okay.
Takahashi? I think his character is just like him. Always he keep humble and never be conceited. This is Japanese people is different. This is the point. No, wait a minute.
Yeah.
She is here, so I think the three of us we can use this one. Is on this screen, right? But this is always keep humble and never be conceited. This is his attitude. But Japanese is different. They are humble and conceited. Not humble and conceited.
Right. Right.
This is an Asian Pacific negotiation skill Japanese need to study.
Umebore?
Huh? What?
Unubore?
Unuboro. This is conceited. Right?
Right.
お疲れ様でした。
来週はお休みですか？
休みね。やるよ。
やるよ。夜は
次の
運動会。
ああ、
来る土曜日。
ちょっと
都合がつけば。
ネゴシエーシ
いや、そうじゃなくて、
Always listen.
そうじゃなくて、そうじゃなくて頑張ってきなさいよ。一日来なくてもいいから。土曜日。
ョン。あはいはい。
一日来なくてもいいから。
はい。そうです。
午前でも午後でもね。
じゃあハッピーファミリーデューティー。
So, Disneyland.
There's like I'm going to Karazawa.
To Karazawa? 寒くない？
寒い。
なぜKarazawa？
暖かいと思ったけど。
やっぱりさ、運動塾はさ、継続大事だからね。
そうですね。
OK。じゃあまた。
じゃあ、keep warm.
Keep warm.
これあんたじゃないのこれ。You?
No, mine.
Yes. Okay. So this is okay. What he's handling is keep humble and never be conceited. This is Japanese short
Short point.
point. They are very they don't humble. They are very conceited and bloated.
Bloated.
So this is a negotiation.
Full of themselves.
And always my I just submit for the proposal for the Shigimasis chairman and also former sub chairman scold me. You need more, should be more humble.
Oh.
Your sentence is not humble. It's they will not accept your offer.
Ah.
Right? This is without his recommendation, I don't recognize kind, so I'm humble. Right? So, no. So this is a Japanese people's problem. So, just you said negotiation is a kind of vision, a process, and sort of things. Beforehand, I think sort of issues we need to consider. That's the reason I'm teaching for the people.
Right.
How to establish this is, I think, Asia Pacific the same.
But it's so because it is culture. It's common sense, right? Basically, companies. Why do people start companies? Why do people make a business? Because they provide the best product.
Originally, Chinese people 2,500 years ago, they said this. Not Japanese said.
Right.
But this exactly can adopt to Japanese people.
Right.
So this is a way of Confucius said how to building trust relationship is like this. So Japanese people is we can adopt this sort.
Right. So Japanese. So if I would have to characterize the Japanese business mindset, it is the best product with the best service. But
Yeah.
But
Exactly, that's right.
But
But what?
But first of all, the best product is what we feel is best.
Huh?
So it's not the best product for the customer, it's what we feel is best. That's number one. And the best service is also not the best service from the customer perspective, but we just do everything to make to satisfy the customer. I had a big discussion this week about
Right.
a very big discussion internally with a Japanese person.
Yeah.
That basically, for example, if you look at a company like Apple, right? They have beautiful products. They designed very well. They look beautiful, but it's not just the product; it's the entire experience. It's the customer service. It's the shops. It's it's everything. It's the way that they do marketing. It's an integral. It's a complete concept. And it's not about meeting customer expectations. It's about exceeding customers' expectations. So we were talking about our company, that the directors of the 4 divisions, they don't want to listen to actually the philosophy, because we have all these beautiful these tool sets, but there is a philosophy that people need to learn in order to know how to use them, in order to create an exceptional customer experience. Now, the directors, they don't want to listen to this, because they say we give an excellent customer experience. No, it's not about excellence. It's about exceeding your customer experience, making it an integral part of your service, not just following your customers, but basically like going one step beyond that, by actually leading your customer into places where they would not go themselves. So it's not just, okay, we always do what the customer says. No, basically you help your customer to go one step up. It's a different philosophy. So you need to lead your customer. But this is very big. It's a very big cultural gap with what Japan, what's common sense in Japan, because customer is king. So you just do whatever the customer tells you. That's not the challenge. The challenge is that you help your customer grow. That's your challenge.